Well, that's an important breakthrough that you mentioned there. Luigi Di Maio, the head of the Five Star Movement, reaching agreement with a party that has been a long time enemy of his party, and that is the centre left Democratic Party, on keeping the current Prime Minister, who is not aligned with the party, Giuseppe Conte, in power. He is going to meet the president, Sergio Mattarella, first thing tomorrow morning, and it's likely that the president will give him the opportunity to go away, form a coalition government with these two parties, and start to put together a cabinet. Now, even though we saw some agreement on keeping the Prime Minister in power today, now the intense negotiations are going to begin on what happens next, who gets the key cabinet portfolios, and how they divide up the cabinet positions, as well as developing a joint program to keep these two parties together in what looks like a very fragile coalition.
So fragile coalition then, what would you say the next step is here? What steps will the government be taking?
Well, it comes from the president in this situation. He is the statesman-like figure when there is a crisis like this. He asks the parties if they can form a coalition, if they can keep the government going. It's his priority to keep a ruling government in power in order to get the budget negotiations through in October and satisfy demands from Brussels, the European Union. And if this coalition falls apart, we could see early elections. That's going to be damaging for these two parties because they are trailing in the polls compared to Matteo Salvini, the head of the League Party. So these parties want to avoid an election. They could lose MPs if they go to the polls. So the pressure is trying to keep this coalition in power, see if they can negotiate these cabinet positions, keep the government in power for at least for the next couple of months. But that looks like a very ambitious call at this point because there's still a lot of bargaining to go on in the next few days.